Welcome back. It is time for the Oh Wow moment brought to you by the Gloria and Roger Jones Children's Center for Science and Technology. And with me this morning, I have the one and only Miss Elaine, the science lady. Good morning, Miss Elaine.
Good morning.
I'm glad that you're here. And I see ice, I see water, I see salt.
Yes.
I see Epsom salt, and I see, what is that?
Rock salt.
Rock salt. Okay.
Yes.
What are we doing?
So, as always, I have a miscellaneous assortment of items
Okay,
here
Miss
today. But the reason I brought all this stuff today is to talk about the science behind why we put salt on our roads when it's icy.
Why?
And the reason so we'll show you. We're going to see it. And you can do this at home. But the reason I wanted to talk about this today, so the time of filming is Wednesday, but this airs on Sunday. So you all watching, it's Sunday. Right now in the forecast, it looks like it's going to be a little icy. So I don't know if that'll hold true, but if it does, you'll see why those salt trucks are out putting putting salt on our icy roads right now.
Okay.
So you can do this at home. Just need an ice cube tray, some ice cubes.
Wait, did we have that ice here, or did you bring it?
I brought that. I had it in the freezer
we had
here.
an ice tray up here. I would have been mixing drinks a long time ago.
Yeah, if I was walking down the street with an ice cube tray, people are probably like, "What is she doing?"
I know. Why does she have ice? Okay, so the ice.
Yes, and salt. So all you need for this is table salt. This is regular old table salt that you would have in your salt shaker. But if you have different types of salt, you can experiment. So I have some Epsom salt here that you would use to, soak your feet, or some rock salt that you would use on your sidewalk or your roads. So just if you have some different types of salt, go ahead and get a little bit of each, because you can experiment with different types of salt here.
Okay, question. You can't use table salt to melt ice on the sidewalk or on your steps.
Well, let's find out.
Oh, sounded like a challenge to me.
And
okay.
An even bigger challenge is we are going to use this string
Okay.
to pick up an ice cube without touching the ice cube with our hands.
That's yarn.
Yarn, string. It says jute, string, yarn, anything.
Miss Elaine,
it all works.
You're going to tie it around the ice cube?
So we're not going to tie it around the ice cube because we can't touch the ice cube with our hands. We're going to use the
she's
salt.
full of surprises. Okay, how are you going to do that?
All right, so the first thing is to put our ice cube in a glass of water here.
Okay.
And I'm just going to set this string on top of the ice cube like this. But I'm not going to pick up the ice cube with my hands. I'm just setting the string on it. I'm going to push it down a little bit so that string gets soaked with water or yarn or jute, whatever you have lying around.
All right.
And then
I'm
going to take some of my salt here. And again, you can...
And that's table salt.
Yes,
just
this is
regular
table
old
salt. You can test this out with all different kinds of salt, but we're just going to use table salt because that's what most people have.
Okay.
And just sprinkle some on top of here like that. And now we're going to wait a couple seconds.
Okay.
And I sprinkled some salt on there. So as you guys know, salt melts the ice on the roads. And the way that it does that is it lowers the freezing or the melting point of the ice. So say it's 32 degrees outside. That's the freezing temperature of water, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius. So all that water's frozen on the roads. We put salt on it. And that salt actually lowers that point. So if it's 32 degrees outside and we lower the melting point of salt to 31 degrees, or of ice, I'm sorry, we lower the melting point of ice to 31 degrees, that ice is going to melt.
Okay.
But something cool happens when we have it in the water here. Something cool, get it?
Miss Elaine, you're something else. Would the same thing have happened had you used Epsom salt?
Well, if we have some time, we can find out. But this is something that you can test out at home.
Can I put this in one of these cups?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. My favorite salt person is Dr. Tonya Farmer. She does the Himalayan salt thing. Would it work with Himalayan salt, with any salt?
So that's something you can experiment with at home if you have Himalayan pink salt that you like to cook with.
I do.
Or use for whatever. You can definitely test out all your different types of salt.
Okay.
So let's talk about what exactly is going on here, because we said salt lowers the melting point of ice. So if we're making this ice melt, then why is it refreezing to the string and making the string pick it up?
Exothermic. Introthermic.
Very good guess. So like a chemical reaction, not quite. So what's happening is when we had our ice cube in the water and we put the salt on there, it did lower the melting point. So So the salt or the ice melted a little bit, and that caused the salt to dissolve into the water. And then the water ran down the side of the ice and carried that salt away. So once the salt was gone, the freezing melting point went back up.
And it
and
attached to
refroze.
the string.
Yep.
Oh, it's a chemical reaction.
So not quite
Okay,
a
all right.
chemical reaction, more of a physical reaction because we're changing the
Physical
phase.
attraction. Okay. All right.
But
Is
let's
that
see.
ready yet?
Yeah, go ahead and pick it up. Let's see if it worked. I honestly don't know. Testing out these different kinds.
It,
Oh, it didn't.
oh,
Maybe these ones are too big. So this gets us even deeper into the science of why this happens. So with our little tiny grains of salt,
maybe
they are,
because their grains are smaller.
yeah, they're smaller, so they dissolve. So when something dissolves in water, those little pieces of salt are actually filling in the space between the molecules of water.
Okay.
And that's why the salt dissolved in the water actually lowers that melting
got
point
it.
or freezing point, is because since the salt is filling that space, it's harder for the water to crystallize and become that solid ice. So it takes colder temperatures to do that when we have stuff dissolved in there filling those spaces.
Wow. So now you know what you could do with your salt and ice at home.
Yes, try this at
How
home.
about that? That's a great science experiment. Thank you, Miss Elaney.
Yeah, thank you for
You're
having
always
me.
so darn cool. I love it. And remember, everybody, a positive attitude can make anything happen for anyone. When you're out and about, please wear your seatbelt. Hope to see you next Sunday when we do more fun and exciting things and learn more fun and exciting things right here on Community Connection. See you then.